Hi friends, Cindy Houston here, and I just want to show you where I'm at. I'm at one of my favorite spots. It's one of the most peaceful spots I know of in Chicago, besides the lake, and it's the Graceland Cemetery. And you might be asking, why are you taking us to the cemetery? Well, one of the reasons why is because it's peaceful, although you can hear the train in the background, but also because the cemetery is where people die, things die, but it's also one of the most fertile places for new beginnings. And so that's another reason why I'm here. So what I want to share with you is the topic is trauma triggers to empowerment to yeses. And I am going to be sharing a little bit more deeper about my own process, my own journey, my own story of what's brought me to where I am now. I have a lot of people ask me, like, how do you do what you do? How did you get to what you're doing right now? What brought you here? And one of my teachers says, you're either going to move towards pain or you're going to move away from pain to pleasure. And I feel like some of us will put ourselves through enough pain that we eventually say, enough, I need something more. I need to move towards something more. And that is actually what leads us to our next step, what leads us to our purpose, leads us to our gifts. But it can take a lot of time and energy, especially with how deep it goes, right? With our, whatever we've experienced in our own life. And so what I'm getting on to share with you is, some of you know my story of where, I was raised in Iowa. I had a really sweet family. They gave me a very sweet life and growing up, and they allowed me to tap into my spirit by allowing me to be a dancer. And that was so much of who I was and identified as growing up. And I couldn't be more grateful for that because at the same time also I didn't realize how highly sensitive I was, and how them putting me in dance really was a gift, allowing me to move that energy, to clear that energy, and tap into my creative space. And those of you that are creatives, you know that it can be so healing and so necessary to move energy, right? And the arts provide that for us. And so, later on in life, I realized that was, and now more than ever, I realize that was such a gift that they gave me. But along with life, things happen, life happens, traumas happen, things that trigger traumas come up in life, and we can choose to repeat the cycle, or we can choose to move through it, right? And that's where it comes back to that choice of stay in pain or step into pleasure. And so with that, my journey as a dancer, that was my first love. That was something that I loved deeply, and I have so many good memories about. But I will also say there was a lot of contribution to trauma. And what I mean by that is the 4 traumas that have brought me to do what I'm doing now and helped me create the business that I offer now is body, voice, food, and energy. Those are the 4 trauma triggers that I constantly have to move through and use the tools that I've gained throughout the years to recognize if those patterns start to sneak in, and I get to choose whether I stay in them or not. And so you might say, well, what does this have to do with me, Cindy? Well, the reason why I'm getting on is I am going to be offering later on this month a class where we're going to dive deep and we're going to talk about tools that can be very effective for anyone who is someone who's an artist that feels like they tend to lean more towards pain than pleasure. Anyone who's more energy sensitive and not sure what to do when you're feeling a lot or you feel like you're taking other people's energy on. And we're also going to talk about the body and how we can move our body and different techniques that we can practice with our body to release trauma or pain patterns which get locked in, right? It's a memory. And so a lot of times, like when I work on people's bodies, I'll work on them and they'll go back into this holding pattern because it's so familiar to them, a part of their story, right? And the body sees it almost as comfort. Like, who am I if I let this go? And then the other is food and how food can, there's this conception of food is fuel, and food is a form of energy, but it is not the main form of energy that fuels us. There are other sources that are available, and how a lot of times we will lead towards food to numb, to comfort, to self-soothe these other pains or trauma triggers that come up. So I say this because this is all a part of my story. I dealt with an eating disorder, although it wasn't diagnosed. It was definitely present through many years of my life, starting at young childhood, and really present during the ages of 13 to 27, 29. So I want to get on and share my story with you and share my tools and techniques that have brought me into this space so that now I choose pleasure. Now I choose me, and where that takes me into, it takes me into a space of empowerment. It takes me into my yeses. It gives me that really clear, like, what is my yes? What is the yes that lights me up? What is the yes that allows me to be more present for those I love and be able to serve more people in a massive way? What are my yeses that I wake up and my body feels amazing? What are my yeses that even if I don't wake up feeling amazing, I can tap into these tools and shift into it 2 hours, less than that, sometimes even just 10 minutes. So I want to share these tools with you because they've been extremely helpful for me, and someone who is definitely passionate about the body and sensitive to energy and loves to be learning more about consciousness of food and how energy can help us in many, many ways. So I look forward to hearing from you. So what I would like you to do is, if you are interested in this training, I want you to comment below, yes. And it's going to be showing up in August. So I want to make sure that you get the invite. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to do another live on this again. And I'm going to share a little bit of those four, about the food, the body, the energy, so that you can get those, get a little idea of how we're going to go a little deeper. So that's it for today. I'm just going to show you this beautiful, beautiful space. It's so peaceful here, right? What are your yeses? I am so excited to lead you there, to help guide you there so you can recognize them for yourself. All right, so much love. Look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.